5 ways surveillance is in hyperdrive. Pandemic gave government a perfect excuse to monitor citizens. Crises are the perfect breeding ground for authoritarians and social engineers. The extreme measures governments rolled out to contain the COVID-19 virus remind us that fear often overwhelms respect for civil liberties. Since spreading from Wuhan, the COVID-19 virus has exacerbated and exposed the spread of the Communist Party of China's mass surveillance apparatus. Like a scene out of George Orwell's 1984, ubiquitous cameras capable of facial recognition store movement records, and police drones chase and scold people outside their homes. Rather than recoiling in horror and denouncing this overreach, Western nations and media have reacted with a mix of envy and awe. Israel, South Korea, Singapore, and India copied the Orwellian tactics, whereas the United Kingdom, Germany, France, and the United States resorted to contact tracing phone apps to alert those who may have been near an infected person. Canada was no exception. Through smartphones, the federal government tracked citizens' movements in real time and decided who could go to public spaces and use transportation. Here are 5 ways the surveillance state has looked over Canadians' unsuspecting shoulders. Cell phone data collection. Until December 2021, the Public Health Agency of Canada accessed location data from 33 million mobile devices to track people's movement during lockdowns. The House of Commons Ethics Committee revealed in early 2022 that data collection lacked transparency. Subnational governments across Canada, such as Toronto and Ontario, also accessed location data to see where people were congregating and where to tighten restrictions. Police access to medical data. During lockdowns, the declared state of emergency in Ontario meant the province's police could check a government database for someone's otherwise confidential COVID-19 status information. Although officers promised to use it only to prevent, respond to, or alleviate the effects of the COVID-19 emergency, such a vague justification is no barrier to abuse, and it jeopardized citizens' privacy. Moreover, Canada's track record of safeguarding medical information is poor. The Toronto Star has, for example, reported that US border agents have had access to Canadian health files. A disguised tracking app. In July 2020, the federal government launched a COVID alert app. The $20 million Bluetooth-based tracking system sent exposure warnings to anyone who had spent more than 15 minutes near someone who had tested positive. Turned off in June 2022, the app delivered poor results and its management lacked transparency. By February 2022, 6.9 million out of 38 million Canadians downloaded the app. British Columbia, Alberta, Nunavut, and Yukon opposed using the app altogether due to errors in the alert system. For Brenda McPhail, head of privacy and technology at the Canadian Civil Liberties Association, the main risk derived from the app was the trend of normalizing surveillance. McPhail warned that this kind of technology could end up being repurposed rather than uninstalled. Quote, "Not all the risks of surveillance are about privacy, but privacy is an important form of protection," unquote. Big data intelligence. Not one to miss an opportunity to push for broader surveillance, the nation's spy agencies quietly operated behind the scenes. During lockdowns, the Canadian Security Intelligence Service, CSIS, secured sweeping powers to collect and analyze more information on Canadian citizens. We do not know what classes of data CSIS collected and why, since the agency deleted that from disclosed documents. Reliance on Chinese technology. Unlike the United States, Canada continues to use made-in-China equipment other countries have deemed a national security risk. Most of Transport Canada's drones are from a Chinese firm the US government has grounded over espionage concerns. The Canadian Army also operates surveillance cameras its southern neighbor has banned for potentially sending information back to Beijing. In May 2022, the Justin Trudeau administration finally banned Huawei from the country's 5G network after 2 years of international peer consensus and pleas from military commanders. If contact tracing apps become widespread on phones, the potential damage from foreign meddling increases. Canadians must not lower their guards. Americans know from the aftermath of 9/11 and Edward Snowden's revelations how politicians exploit fear and tragedy to their own ends. Quote, as authoritarianism spreads, as emergency laws proliferate, as we sacrifice our rights, we also sacrifice our capability to arrest the slide into a less liberal and less free world, unquote, Snowden said in an interview. The virus will pass, but the surveillance state is a guest that will overstay its welcome. The next item on the agenda appears to be a national digital ID. This is already in motion and is set to be a vehicle for all-encompassing surveillance and control, especially since it could enable digital cancellation and ostracism.